do we have, I can't see everybody on here, but it looks like we've got enough to get started.
Yeah, we're just missing Damon.
Okay, great. So we will get started, and I believe the first thing we need to do is approve the minutes from our March meeting. Hopefully you've had a chance to take a look at those.
I would move that we approve those minutes.
Larry's made a motion. Do I have a second? Wanda seconds. All right. Those in favor say aye or raise your hand. Okay.
Aye.
Great. The minutes are approved. So we'll move on to Cheryl for our financial report.
Y'all should have received these by email. I want to mention, I put a note on the very bottom in very tiny print. We received a pretty large chunk, like $79,000 of hot tax on April the 4th, and another $9,000 was deposited yesterday. So our total for year to date is actually 47% of our budget through yesterday. So those just came in after March 31st, so I could not include them on this statement. Just a reminder, the dues and subscription looks kind of high, and that includes the Rentalscape membership that the board agreed to several months ago. And so that's going to kind of be off budget for the rest of the year, I guess, essentially. And the only other thing, of course, is the servicing and events income, because when that was budget, the income and expense side on the events was the budget was completely unknown at the time that we prepared it. So they're pretty out of whack, and we're going to keep working on that for next year. We talked about it yesterday about what's the best way to do this. So that's all I have. If anyone has any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer.
Any questions about our budget? I know it's been a little, I don't know, frustrating is the word, but it's been a little tricky with the way that hot taxes come in and just kind of the unknown about some things. So,
but we're doing okay cash flow wise, yeah. So we're okay.
Questions? This isn't really a question, but I know that we are about to come up on the budgeting year time to begin budgeting for the CVB, and I would really like the board to have some involvement in that. So Sherry and I discussed the possibility of having a budget workshop that wouldn't be like an all-day thing, but just give a couple of hours so that we can look at the budget, think about next year. We have 1 year of events under our belt now. We've kind of hit a normalized time, I think. So I think, Sherry, are you planning on sending out maybe a call for times when people could meet in the next little bit?
Yeah, by the end of this week, I'll get something out, and we'll shoot for 2 hours. I'm sure we could fill that up if we wanted to, but I think if we stay focused, we could do an hour, hour and a half.
So just kind of be on the lookout for that, because we've got a lot of great minds on this board, and you're here for a reason to help guide the direction of the CVB and really help with that budgeting process. So be on the lookout for that email from Sherry. Okay, we can move on to our next agenda item. I'm having to click through to the agenda, which is our Rentalscape follow-up. Sherry, would you like to give us a rundown on that?
Sure. Joanna and Ashley and I were able to get onboarded onto the system and see what the capabilities are and look at the functionality of it. So our next step, the other departments, finance, will need to be onboarded, as well as planning. But at this point, we can go through and compare the number of properties that are listed and active and meet the requirements to remit hot tax versus those that are currently, the 4 that are currently remitting and draft a letter and send that through finance to make sure that it's worded correctly and that it passes the city's standards of communications to the citizens and whatnot, and we'll send that out. We never did bring back on the table the discussion for sure of what this board wanted to do in so much as getting back taxes or using that as an incentive, using not taking back taxes as an incentive to get everybody registered and remitting from this point moving forward. So probably at next month's meeting, we need to bring that back on the table and have a discussion about that so that we can present it to the city and see if they're in agreement. I think Larry pointed out when we first brought it on that it really, at the end of the day, we're not the taxing agency. It's the city that's doing that. So yes, Alex.
Hey, so quick question. I know that we had tried in the past to do a board retreat. So would we try and add this into our little discussion too? Because some of us are new and we hadn't done that yet. So just wondering.
It's a great question. The board retreat, that really is like a whole day kind of thing in and of itself without doing budget. So,
Right.
I mean, it's up to the board if y'all would like that. I know the 2 times that I tried to get dates for a board retreat, there wasn't a common time for everybody that needed to be there. So,
Right. I mean, maybe it may be easier now that summer's rolling around. I know a lot of us, since we teach in person, it's harder. But I mean, I don't know, just a thought. You could try again. If not, then we can just kind of, just do the budget thing. But just a thought.
no, it's a great thought too.
Yeah.
Our more pressing thing, I think, is budget, just because the city will start their budget process as well. And in the past 3 years, City Council has approved a budget that our board of directors hasn't passed yet. So it's imperative that we sort of get in front of that. But we'll see. Like you said, it's we probably still will wind up doing those separately. But I do agree that a summertime would work for the board training. Yes, Larry.
Yeah, totally.
So are we collecting the taxes currently from those businesses that we can get contact with? Or-
No, that's what I was saying. The next step is there are about 4 at last count of the 70 plus that are active, that are registered with finance and are remitting on a monthly basis the taxes that they should. So our next step, and the main reason that we contracted with this agency, is that it gives us all the owner, the property manager, the addresses and everything, and also the backup details, so we can show, if they contest it, we can show their active listings. We have proof of that to show. So our next step is to draft a letter to those that haven't been and get them on board, and just explain, educate them on what they need to do and get them in contact with finance. And at that point, finance takes over everything.
A related question that came to me from one of my neighbors, in fact, are there any requirements for someone that wants to list a house on one of the listing services, one of the rental services, short-term rentals, with the city, that they have to get permission from the city or get approval of the city or anything like that?
Currently, no. And that is with an asterisk. There have been discussions that are leaning towards in the future, possibly having a permitting fee, and just so that we have it built into a system that these people do know that they have to, we give them a starting point of where to go. But aside from any requirements that the individual platforms require, no, there's no, if they belong in a homeowners association, they might have rules and regulations about it, but for the city of Nacogdoches itself, there are no regulations.
Do any of our zoning ordinances prevent short-term rentals?
No,
So it's not covered at all in our zoning ordinances,
no.
which might be something the city needs to think about.
Yes, and it's on the radar for sure. I mean, we're lucky. I think there are communities that have, where we're looking at 70 plus listings. You look at destinations like, anywhere in the Metroplex or Galveston. Galveston has thousands of short-term rentals. And so there are those communities where, it's like wrangling kittens. So they have a lot of kittens to be wrangled. We don't have that many kittens. Okay, so I think that's the Rentalscape follow-up. And I'll go into the website follow-up. Joanna and Ashley and I have been meeting weekly with Sapphire to sort of start we're in the design phase now. It's going to be at maximum an 8-week process, and we're terribly advanced. So we're already running ahead of schedule with an anticipated launch date at the end of June. So let me show you what we're going with design-wise. I'm going to try and be technical and share my screen. There. Can y'all see it? You've muted your oohs and ahs.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So before we had our long logo, and it just sort of fell flat. It was just kind of long and skinny. So we call this our bug design, and it's on a brick background. We love this countdown feature. Our social media platforms are statically located right here. This white area on the sides won't show up. It is, I'm talking with my hands over here. This image right here is full screen, and we can change that whenever. Upcoming events are listed right there. You don't even have to try very hard, and then you can view the entire event calendar. One of the great functionality pieces of Sapphire is that they allow us to choose the default calendar style. So if it's monthly, if it's itemized, if it's weekly, we can choose that. But also the end user can choose how they receive that data. So if they really want it in a traditional calendar grid, they can look at it that way. And so that's really great. This is our About section, again, referencing Brick. These are our different breakout groups: Stay, Explore, Grow, Sip, Eat, Shop, Experience, and then Free Travel Guide. This is our automated social media postings from Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. We can put any video we want right here. We can sign up. People can sign up to receive the newsletter. And then these, we can have up to 8. These are actually ad spaces that we can sell to make our website revenue generating. And, Joanna and I have spoken preliminarily about looking at selling these on a quarterly basis. And it's not going to pay for much, but some is more than nothing. And I'm really excited about having that. And then we also have a sponsor widget that we can turn on for sponsors of some of our bigger events. And then this is the end of it. Yes, Alex, we'd love those ad spaces as well. So Ashley sent off the finalized design plans, and now we can continue on and get moving. We paid $3,500 so that Sapphire would transfer the data from SimpleView over, and so that's going to be in process. And then Ashley is going through Sapphire University, which are online YouTube videos that guide you through how to build out a page, how to do everything. And so we're doing that in tandem with our weekly meetings to sort of lead us through to the end of the project. And Ashley is completely in charge of website design. And then their Sapphire offers a ticketing platform as well that we're subscribed to. And Joanna is going to take on ticketing. And so her training in that will start in the next week or two. And we're really excited about that, not only for our own events, but to offer that to community partners that also want to have ticket events, but don't want to incur the prices from using like Eventbrite. We can keep it all local. Thank you, Alex.
You're welcome.
It looks great, Sherry. It looks really good.
Thanks. That's an Ashley thing.
Well, as a consumer of lots of travel and DMO websites, I think it is. I think it really has a refreshed feel, and I do agree with the banner. Taking that banner logo off and doing the smaller one, it just has a great appeal. So,
Thank you.
nicely done, Ashley. Looks like y'all are really working through that.
And then that leads into staff reports, and mine is first. We are busy. Currently, we're doing well with our volunteer recruitment, and so that's a good thing. And right now, personally, I am working on our collaboration efforts with Lufkin. I've been in contact with Tara Hendricks there in Lufkin to see things that we can share. Staff is concentrating on summer. We're very fortunate. We have 4 interns this summer from hospitality, and we're so excited. One of them actually meets the requirements for our paid internship because she qualifies for work study through the university. So we'll have one paid. And I've interviewed each one of them, and they all have varied interest in hospitality and tourism. So we're excited to provide and curate an experience for them that's going to let them walk away with more knowledge and a project. Pardon me, dry mouth. A project that they can call their own, and we certainly will benefit from the 20 hours that they give us each week. And the other thing, Joanna brought to my attention some artwork that she wanted to see about placing and displaying in the upstairs conference room. And I thought that was such a good idea. And in the conversation, which is where most of our really great ideas happen, I want to start reaching out to local artists, Jeffy Brewer, for example, to see if we could get pieces on loan to display. We've been encouraging groups that come through the Garden Capital Committee, for instance. They're having garden tours coming up. And so instead of a poster, I've been encouraging groups to put actual displays in the lobby, because posters, you get blind to those. One looks like another. Even if you put it on Astro Bright, it doesn't matter. But if you have something three-dimensional, it causes people to stop and question. And so, sort of in the same vein, I really want to look at highlighting some current artists that we have in our community with pieces on loan, and sort of carving out a space in our building to highlight those, and to really look at, we have some beautiful artwork in our basement area. Those have been hanging in the same positions for 25 years. So maybe it's time to put those on a rotation and not do away with them. We would never want to do that. But just make room for maybe some themed exhibition exhibits. And curated displays around. So that's going to be my summer project, is seeing what we can do in small ways to sort of get that. I think it would be awesome to have a Jeffy piece in our lobby area for people to see, because I think that's where we start to continue the story from we're the oldest town in Texas, but that's not all we are. And then I'll wrap up and leave the rest of it to the rest of the team, unless there's any questions. All right.
Thanks, Sherry. Lots of good stuff going on for sure. Sales and promotion, Joanna.
Yeah, just to continue a little bit about what Sherry said, I was looking at my messages, and Gary Parker was the artist that we were talking about specifically. And if you guys know Gary and his work, it's great. I bought a piece. He was over at the Falling Star Gallery here recently, and like Jeffy, I mean, he's in many people's homes that aren't in Nacogdoches. So I think it's a great way to. We have the wall space. We have a lot of white wall space that could not only focus on our artwork, but also the music that has come before. Anyway, and then that kind of rolls me into what we're up to this weekend. Of course, we have our third snack this Friday. We've got a band coming out of Longview. They're called Randall Armstrong Band. Probably skews a little country and rock and roll. And in addition to having him on board and his group, we have the Nacogdoches Classic Car Club coming back in. We also have a group of sorority sisters. I don't want to say which group because I don't remember and I don't want to mess it up.
The Tridelts.
Oh, the Tridelts. And it's their 40th reunion. So they are going to be a fun group. They're setting up on the east side of the building with a tent. And then we'll also have the early packet pickup for the bike race at the event. So lots of fun and food trucks and groups that are all be on the square Friday night. Excited about that. And once that finishes up, we're going to go ahead and close that down for the evening because we have some pre-set up for the next day's event, which is the Nacogdoches Music and Arts Festival. I don't know if y'all can see this. No, of course you can't because I have that background. The Music and Arts Festival is a true collaboration between the SFA Preparatory Division and their board, of which many are also on other boards at SFA, which has allowed us to include all of the School of Fine Arts, dance. We'll have more art next year, but it's going to be 60 vendors strong, 4 stages, music beginning at 11 and running until 7 p.m. Would love to have you guys come down and take a peek at it. This is the kind of cultural arts event I think really has a shot of growing and becoming a true premier event for Nacogdoches. The way I see it is, right now it's an outdoor recital for all the kiddos and kids from 5 to seniors in high school. But as we layer it with some more professional folks, just imagine bringing in a performer, an instructor from a different large community, and doing a master class of some sort at SFA, and then performing on the streets of SFA. And with art, doing the same, making it a jury type event where you have to actually send your artwork or your whatever your medium is, and being selected. I mean, there's just a really great opportunity to become something amazing, bringing in a lot of folks from out of town that would help our mission. So I'm excited about this event. I think it's going to be a great one. Again, Saturday, it's going to be a long day, but we have an event planner that is crossing our T's twice and dotting our I's and making sure that we are well prepared. And then it'll give us an opportunity to see how we can do it even better next year. But the stores seem excited about it downtown. I do feel that this is the kind of audience that we want. Again, as we bring in more talent, it's only going to be a greater opportunity for the CVB. So it'll be fun. We've managed to do a few things that I believe will help our downtown merchants with additional parking for them. And again, I think we have a lot of volunteers from SFA, which is going to make this event a good one. And then beyond that, on Saturday, we've got the Spring Brew Fest. That's going to be out at the Expo at the same time the riders are taking off for the Old Stone Fort bike ride. So we are going to be busy this weekend to follow up our next weekend with the Dudette Barbecue. There's also something else. What am I missing? Oh, the Sacred Heart. That's always a huge event. The Sacred Heart Multicultural Festival is on the 30th. I believe there's a Kentucky Derby party. I might be wrong. Yes, at the Cottage Wine Bar. There is a murder mystery at the Stone House Kitchen. This is all on the 30th. Lots of things going on the 30th, which then brings us into the beginning of May, which is our Sail on the Trail. Ashley can talk to you a little bit more about that. But for all three, well, not all three of these events, but for the Sail on the Trail, as well as the NEC Music and Arts Festival, we were able to get commercials produced and actually put out on the airwaves, PSAs here at our local market level. And I guess the last thing for me is our full moon concerts planned for Memorial Day weekend for Saturday and Sunday. It is going, we're kind of including our Knack Snack Friday on that. And we've got a commercial promoting that out as far as radio. And for that event, as always, we are looking for volunteers. So if you guys plan on hanging out, being a part of it, we'd love to see you there, see how things roll. We're going to have, again, 80s music both nights. We'll highlight some local bands, and we hope you are there to be of service and then also just to have a good time. And that's my report.
Couldn't get to the mute button. Thank you, Joanna. That was great. There's so much going on. And Reese Jewelry helped out with one of those full moon concerts, and they really had fun with it. We got t-shirts for them. So we'll commit those folks doing it again because they had so much fun doing it. So yes, we will put us on the radar for that. So lots of good events happening. All right, Ashley, I think you're up.
It's me. Thank you, Shay, for offering your volunteers. I just want to really drive that home because there's a baby growing inside of me, and I don't plan to go outside at the end of May at all. I'm going to do everything from the computer as much as possible, and y'all won't see me in the month of June. I'll be hiding in a cold corner somewhere. But yeah, so we really need those volunteers, and we're also really excited about those interns, getting them trained to keep everything moving while I'm on maternity leave. But this report is not all about me being pregnant. It just takes up the rest of my life. Everything was up last month in March. Website visits, Google views, Facebook interactions. I believe it started blowing up from the azaleas, which I'll let Mike talk a little bit more, but we did have azaleas after all, and it was absolutely beautiful here. And so we got a lot of traffic out of that. So that was really nice because we've kind of missed that the past 2 to 3 years. We have gained several new followers on Facebook and Instagram. We're up to 14,129 on Facebook and about 3,500 on Instagram. So that's really exciting. And I've told y'all the last 2 calls, but we're having an influencer come in May. And I'm excited to see what growth he can bring us because he's from the Austin area. And so I'm excited to get some extended traffic here. Because we typically, stay with Houston, Dallas, Shreveport, but Austin's just a little bit further. And I think the likelihood of Austinites staying overnight is more likely than our typical drive trips around here. And then we had almost 13,000 website users just in the month of March, so that's really awesome. And let's see, I think that's everything. Joanna wanted me to talk about Sail on the Trail. So that is the event that we host in coordination with the Natchitoches Tourism Commission. I don't remember what theirs is called, but and all of the places in between. I think this is going to be the biggest year for them or for us yet. We have about 78 vendors signed up between the 5 cities. Millards Crossing is going to be a hub for several vendors here. So basically all the little vendors and shops in Nacogdoches that don't have brick and mortars, we're sending them to Millards Crossing, which is great, community partnership and just driving people to see what's out there at Millards Crossing, because I'm on the board for them and there's a lot going on out there right now. So that's just my little shameless plug. Y'all need to go to Millards Crossing and see what's happening and see what's coming up pretty soon. Let's see, I think that's everything. Oh, and thank you for the feedback on the website. That has been so much fun to work on. And there's a mobile version as well that looks just as beautiful. As soon as it's live, we'll send it out to y'all. It's, I feel like the static version doesn't do it justice because there's a lot of little functionality of when you hover over things, it moves and it pops and things like that. So I'm excited for y'all to see the finished product. That looks like it's going to happen at the end of June. So hopefully before the baby comes.
I'm going to tell them about the photo contest.
Yes, and so to fill the content on our website, just give it a full refresh, and also to supply ourselves and our friends at Hancock Marketing with pictures, we're going to be hosting a photo contest. I think we're going to have about $500 in prizes, and then some swag that we have. We've got all the fun T-shirts and things like that. We're specifically looking for pictures with people in them. The website told us, the pictures like the one behind me and our drone photos and things like that are amazing, but they don't have people in them. And so it's hard to convey that we're welcoming people when all of our pictures don't have people. So that's something we're particularly looking for. And I would love pictures of nightlife. I feel like Nacogdoches has a whole nother side that people don't see, with like trivia and, music performances and things like that. So we're really wanting to build up our library of photos. So be on the lookout for an announcement for that. If not the end of this week, then definitely the beginning of next week. And tell all of your friends, they don't have to be super professional photos. They just have to be high resolution because we can always work with them. So spread the word about that.
And I see Larissa on the call here too. There's been times since I've been here that NEDCO needs quality of life photos to sort of put together in packets for potential industry to come to town. So it really does make a huge difference. And, we need to hit all the senses on selling people on Nacogdoches.
Yep. I'll jump in and say that I use those photos a good bit. And I'd love to get any new fresh ones that you can give me that we have rights to publish. That's always appreciated, especially as we try to recruit. Different employers have different sets of employees. And so I may need different sets of photos. So,
Yeah.
and think of all cultures and races and activities when y'all are looking at those.
Yeah, I always kind of struggle with the wording on that because I don't want it to be forced. But
Right.
that's definitely something to consider, and maybe you all can share that within your individual groups of friends and students and things like that. But we absolutely want to show that all people are welcome to Nacogdoches, regardless of their race, color, ethnicity, sexual orientation, things like that. So thank you for that, Larissa. And if you want to send me a request of shots, you're welcome to. I had Chris do that for me the other day.
Okay, awesome.
All right. Does anyone have any questions for me?
I just wanted to say we're going to use the Sail on the Trail as the first week in May is also National Travel and Tourism Week. And so our participation in Sail on the Trail and how we collaborate with our vendors, our sales, that's going to be something that we use to highlight the economic impact that travel and tourism has on a region. So excited about that.
That's awesome. Thank you, Ashley. I was thinking as you were talking about the photo contests that the Girl Scouts, almost every level has a digital photography badge. So I'm, as most of you know, I'm like, when I'm not doing cookies, I'm actually doing cool badge work with Girl Scouts. So I'll see if that's something they want to do. So
Yeah, that would be awesome.
all right. I think Mike is going to be taking us home on the staff reports. Here he is.
Hello. Things continue to be active here at the Visitor Center. As Ashley mentioned, we ended up having a beautiful azalea season that really surprised me. They just seem like they just wanted to really show off this year after being down for the last couple of years. We're also doing some repairs on our front door. Kim Chris has sent a worker over here that's been working for the last 2 days. We had some rotting on either side of our front door, and that's being repaired. What else?
You're going on vacation.
Oh, well, yeah, but let's don't mention that. 'Cause I'm leaving them in the lurch here with everything going on. But I'll be back the 1st of May. So I know they're going to do well without me.
I'm sure
just
you'll be
sad.
missed.
We're just sad he's not taking us with him. He's going to Brussels, Amsterdam. Where else are you going?
Well, it's a river cruise starting in Brussels and ends up in Amsterdam. So
Just a casual river cruise.
That's awesome. That sounds great, Mike.
Thanks.
The azaleas really surprised me too. There's a big bank of them outside my building on campus, and it's like they weren't there on Friday. And when I came back to work on Monday, they had just decided to do their happy dance over the weekend. So
Yeah. It was great.
it was. All right. Well, I think that wraps up our staff reports and our meeting. Just be aware that there's some action items on our part to be on the lookout for a time when we can get together for the budget. I'll be getting with Joanna to get specific dates and maybe sending out some pleas to do volunteer stuff. So we have a little, longer lead time on that, but it's always fun to work and be a part of those cool events that are happening downtown. So our next meeting will be May 18th, I believe. There'll probably be an intermediate meeting, but our next full board meeting will be on May 18th, and hope to see everyone there. So with that, everybody have a great afternoon.
Bye.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.